thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Christabel, the original Power Ranger princess, but on this channel, I'm Princess Power Ranger. It's actually been a hot minute since I've been able to do a YouTube video with you guys, so I'm super excited to be able to sit down with y'all and talk about everything that's happened. So, I was originally living in Cape Town for about 5 months, and I moved to Port Elizabeth. I'm so happy to be back in Port Elizabeth. This is actually the city where I went to university, where my alma mater is. I have so many memories, and I live right next to the beach. So that's been fun. Um, Moving back to Port Elizabeth has been interesting because the city's changed. South Africa's changed. It's not the same city that I lived in 10 years ago. But at the same time, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. So, I love living in a city where I can walk. So, more often than not, I love to walk around. Like, if I have to do some grocery shopping, if it's a mile away, I'll just walk and enjoy nature and stuff. And I had just moved to my new place. This is where I'm staying now. I'm gonna show you. They're my clothes and my Barbies and random stuff. I still need to properly get set up. But this is where I'll be staying for the next who knows how long. So I was walking to the nearest grocery store called Spar. On my way there, or rather on my way back after I had done some shopping and whatever, I was walking back home, and this colored guy I was walking down the road and he was walking up the road. And when he saw me, I forgot what he said, but he was flirting heavily and talking about how pretty I was and whatever, and I just laughed. Um, and the reason I laughed is because how enthusiastic he was. Anyways, he continues walking up, I continue walking down, and I continue laughing. Tell me why he turns around and comes back to... Girl, he comes back to talk to my ass. This is what I love about black and colored guys. In South Africa, the confidence is unmatched. It is nothing I've ever seen or ever been ready for. So, yeah, he runs back to talk to me, and he's all he introduces himself. We're gonna call him Niaz. So Niaz was actually from Cape Town, and I had just been in Cape Town, so he told me he was from Mitchell's Plain. Now, if you know anything about South Africa, and if you know anything about Cape Town, you would know that Mitchell's Plain actually is known for having a high level of gangsters and stuff like that. And a lot of the guys who grow up there, even the ones who don't join gangs or whatever, tend to be very, very hard. They're sexy as hell. But they're hard. And I didn't want to get pistol whooped by this strange man. So we talked and whatever, and we flirted. Girl, he was so sexy. The whole time he was hitting on me, I had a semi, and I was like, boy, please stop. Like, I'm about to bend you over. What you talking about? So, we exchanged numbers, and I was like, I'll just tell him on like WhatsApp, that I'm transgender. Cool, chilled, whatever. And we exchanged numbers, and I guess it's one of those things. A lot of people that I meet tend to be online. And whenever you get a situation where you meet someone and it's natural and it's authentic, it just overwhelms you. And you don't have your keyboard to hide behind. So you respond with your emotions. So, yeah, like we flirted a little bit and whatever. And we exchanged numbers, and I remember talking to him, and he was super friendly, like super interested in meeting up with me. And he was sending pictures, and he was so cute. And I was just kind of like, Christabel, get it together, girl. Get it together. You're not about to top this boy. So I had to tell him, I was like, listen, so I'm transgender. No, I was like, listen, I have something to tell you. And he was like, okay, I'm listening. And I was like, I'm transgender. And I just left it at that. I think so often, us as trans girls, when we meet people, especially in person, we place so much pressure in, oh, this has to turn into like a relationship or whatever. I placed no pressure into meeting this person. I was just kind of like, you're a random person I met off the street. We're talking. I didn't say I'm dating you. I am not only am I hard to get, no, I'm impossible to get. So don't think me exchanging numbers with you is us dating. Be so for real. So I put all the pressure out of me. So I was like, this is not somebody that I'm planning to like date or even meet up again with. But we're talking, and he is flirting, and I just felt like it's probably best for me to just let him know. And the weird thing is, telling guys that I'm trans has almost become my defense mechanism. I get hit on so much. I get so much attention. And it's so crazy. I think before I reached the female threshold and I started passing in society, I just craved a day where I'd walk down the street and I would get attention from like hordes of people, where everyone would be looking at me and people would want to take pictures of me. Once I started passing and I lived in other countries like Vietnam and Thailand and Laos, I realized I don't like all of that attention. Once I started passing, once I started having relationships, I realized that the initial thrill of being validated by hordes of people wasn't always what it was cut out to be. But in this situation, like with this guy, like I don't know, it was nice to sort of like flirt with him, but I could let go of the idea that anything needed to materialize between him and me. Um, because realistically, I mean, I'm already talking to somebody else, so it was one of those things where it was like, he's flirting, but I don't need this validation. I've already been validated enough. I've already gotten to the point of my transition where I feel secure in my physical appearance and I no longer need to get it from like a guy or from hordes and hordes of people. But my God, does it not feel good to like have somebody like hit on you like just randomly and like run towards you and like want to hook up with you? But I had to use that deterrent. I had to let him know that I'm trans so that, like I could still like suss him out. So his response was, you're trans. So, he said, Oh, so you're the first trans that I'm gonna have sex with, that I'm gonna have schmex with. And I remember I just laughed and I was like, nothing beats a colored guy's confidence. Now I'm sort of in this situation where I wasn't even expecting him to respond positively. I was expecting him to block me or whatever. Now, often, us as trans girls, we find ourselves in this position where you've told the guy who's hit on you that you're trans and he still is interested. But I want you to know this: once you've told a guy that you're trans and he's still interested, it can either go one of two ways. The most likely is that he will then start fetishizing you and assuming that you're basically like a gay guy who's just gonna have sex with him at his will. Or if he's actually a genuine person, he will still treat you and speak to you the same way he's been speaking to you before. In my case, he went completely this way. He was talking about how he wanted to have schmecksha time on the beach, what he wanted to do to my derriere, all of the liquids that he wanted me to ingest, that he made naturally from his body. I have to say though that the way he spoke was and will ever, forever, forever be so hot. Oh my gosh. Like, I swear, like, colored guys, like, they do something. They really do something. But anyways, it was at this point that I realized that, oh yeah, he's just like a fuck boy. He's just like that random guy that just wants to hook up with anything that moves. Anything that moves, he will have. And for me, I was kind of like, I don't move that way. So, ongelukkig, ongelukkig, ek kan nie. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning into my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Love you so much. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye.